Welcome back. This is episode 2 of season 2. So my name is Janessa Rose, those of you that are new to my channel, and this is my vlog where I talk about things that I think I know about. Alright? I'm not a professional. I can basically just tell you how I deal with things. This channel basically is just going to offer you a new perspective of circumstances that go on in everyday life. Today, we're going to be talking about depression. It's not a conversation piece that is light, and it's very widely stretched. This is a topic that some people look at lightly, some people take, seriously. I mean, this has so many things, and I have like a whole booklet here of notes, and chances are I'm not going to go through them correctly, but I'm going to try my best to hit all these points because they're really dope, and it's just an alternate way to think of depression. Let's get to it. Let's talk about depression and suicide, the thought of suicide. First and foremost, I want to talk about how I've experienced depression. I am a person who becomes depressed sometimes. Like, I go through many depression, like, different times. Sometimes I fall into medium ones. Sometimes I go into small ones. Sometimes I just have, like, mood swings. Sometimes I'm, like, depressed for a while. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to find anything that makes you feel good. So I understand for those of you that have been depressed. But this video may challenge a lot of people that might be depressed right now, that may have people in their life that they love that are depressed. Some people might not like or agree with me on the way I perceive depression, the way I approach depression. But I'm going to share it with you guys anyway, just so y'all know this is how I speak to myself. When I'm falling into those spaces, when I'm going through those emotions, when life is really on me like that, this is how I be having to talk myself down. I could be hanging out with you. For those of you that know me and are watching this, I could be with you, chilling, vibing, having a good time, and still very much be in a depression. Understanding what depression is, all right? So science says that we can create new habits, okay? Science says that we can create new habits. There's this thing called neuroplasticity, if you look it up, all right? Now, this is saying that we can physically change the brain pattern, however the electric nodes connect and send messages to the other parts of the brains for you to act out. 66 days of something that you're doing, anything that you're doing, whatever your behavior is, 66 days of that causes you to create new brain patterns, causing neuroplasticity to reshape your brain physically, and then you having a new habit now. So this is how you break habits, and this is how you also can make new habits. With that piece of information, I was like, all right, cool. So I could cause myself to break an old habit by creating a new habit, you understand, for myself. And I'll create a new habit for myself, whatever I choose to see, listen to, put myself around, things like that. That's how we create habits. That's how you get your subconscious stored with things that create habits. Doing something constantly. This is why we don't think when we walk. You know what I'm saying? We don't be like left, right, right foot, left foot. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. Front, back. We don't turn left. We don't do that. We just keep it pushing because it's already done so many times over and over and over. It's a habit. We know how to do it. When it comes down to when we think walk, we just move. You know what I'm saying? Everything and anything that we do, we see, we hear, or we engage in for more than 66 days can cause us our brains to have this new pattern, right? Like I was saying. See, this is why I don't like to read notes. You have these brain patterns, and when you don't create new habits for the old ones, the childish things and the things that you've learned as a younger person, or whatever it is that you've yet to grow out of or create new ways to deal with these emotions, they are triggers now. These are parts of your behavior patterns. The childish things and the things that you've learned as a younger person, or whatever it is that you've yet to grow out of or create new ways to deal with these emotions, they are triggers now. These are parts of your behavior patterns. So this is the idea. This is how I tell myself. This is not what I'm saying it is. I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? I've never been clinically diagnosed with bipolar disorder or depression or anything like that. However, my actions and things that I've done in my life have definitely fit the criteria for these things. You know what I'm saying? I just never been diagnosed with these things. But as I read and I study and I see things, you know, when I'm doing my little psychology 1-2, I see like, oh, okay, this shit is me all day. Like, I'm about this crazy shit here. You know, so I realized, okay, maybe growing up and when life responded to me like, no, you don't get this your way. No, not everyone will agree with you. No, you can't do this. No, that's not right. No, you can, you know, whatever it was that I had structured in my mind as the end all be all belief system I've created in my subconscious from my habit, my habitual behavior. When these things were challenged, these things gave a rise to triggers, which were my things that would cause my onset depression. Okay, now there's other people who go through depressions and they might not even know why they're going through the depression. They may not even have the will to go deep and look for all of this. Not everybody's mind works like, you know what I'm saying, like mine does. So your behavior patterns can be triggered, okay? Once you get a trigger going on, it's going to trigger old behavior patterns. Your old behavior patterns are most likely going to come up in the thought form, in an emotional form, okay, of belief systems, resistance to growth, past hurts, and tantruming. This is what's occurring in me when I'm going through a depression, okay? I'm upset about something that is not going my way, all right? That's the tantrum in me. Something outside of my belief system, for whatever that is, that I believe should be my way or would ideally be best my way, is being challenged by something outside of me, which is my resistance to grow. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's challenging me, and instead of being like, what's the challenge? How can I swag this shit out so that way I don't lose fucking control and lose a chunk of my life and health potentially behind the depression? You know what I'm saying? Because these are the things I go through. This is how I talk to myself. Remember, I'm not saying I'm talking to y'all. I'm talking to me. This is how I talk to myself when I get into depression. If this shit works for you, so be it. You know what I'm saying? All right, boom. Also, when I'm depressed, I realize that I'm thinking about all the negative shit, you know what I'm saying, that I've gone through. So all my past hurts come up. Like, whatever didn't work for me, like, I'll justify it behind the thought, like, of course it didn't work for you because you're this and you're that from an old past thought frame or whatever the case may be. So that's coming up. Now I'm allowing that to stay too. You know what I'm saying? So these are my behavior patterns and my belief system. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because this shit is key information, all right? When you're depressed, you have to consider all this stuff, all right? Because whatever triggers your depression is your habitual belief system, all right? So, yeah, I'm sure people have things out of whack. I'm sure people have chemicals, you know what I'm saying, like, that are all over the place. Now, this is another thing that I want to talk about. Okay. I realized that most people, most adults, I don't know, because I'm like I said, I'm just going off of myself and the things that I witness around me and my life experience, which I believe makes me more certified than a motherfucker who's never gone through anything and just has a degree because they studied their ass off like a good kid in the classroom somewhere and in their house and, you know, did all of that. But a person who has real life experience, that's a more certified person to me. All right, maybe I'm just tooting my own horn. I'm just saying. All right, but I don't know how children depression really works out. But then again, I could break that down too because parents are shitty. But anyway, neither here nor there. What I'm saying is this: most of the adults and myself, my depressed experiences and the adults that I've witnessed being depressed and going in and out of depressions around me, either A, you have self-medicated since you was a child or young enough to do your own little thing. Drinking, smoking, drugging, whatever the fuck it was, sexing, or whatever it is that we find addictions to trigger the serotonin and the dopamine in our bodies, which is the feel-good chemical. You know what I'm saying? That's self-medicating. And then you have parents who are like OD over you, like, oh my God, my kid's this, my kid's that, let me put them on medication at a young age and all of that shit. All right, so then plain and simple is this: by the time you're an adult, you're already chemically imbalanced. You're already chemically imbalanced because motherfuckers already took a whole bunch of drugs and did a whole bunch of shit that they wasn't supposed to be doing and fucking wing shit around. I'm not saying that chemicals are not imbalance, but there's so many more factors to why chemicals, go crazy in a person's body. And I'm not saying that mental disorders are not real. I'm not saying that depression ain't a mental disorder. I'm not saying none of that. I'm saying, in my opinion, it's a disorder of a weak mind. And I don't mean like weak as in lame and weakling and like oh, you know what I mean? Not in a, we have a problem with being emotionally, like we react. There's like trigger words. Weak is a trigger word. That word makes people feel like, oh, you trying to play me, or like I'm soft, or whatever. But really, when I say that you have a weak mind, and in my mind, I feel like depression is a clinical, and just in my way, this is the way I talk to Janessa. I'd be like, yo, that's like, you're not depressed, you weak-minded right now. Right now, your mind is weak. You're not exercising your mind. Your mind is not strong. That's how I talk to myself when I'm going through a depression, because I refuse to lose myself to depression, because it gets dark in there. It gets dark in there, and I know how that is. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. It's getting deep for me. Excuse me. So I know how it is, and that's how I look at it. I look at it like you're not depressed, Ness. You have a weak mind. And when I think about what happens when the body is weak, and what would I need to do to make my body strong, whatever it is, my relationship strong, you have to start exercising things. Okay, so when I think about depression, I think about what is being bothered in my life. Okay, so now I start thinking about how do I exercise my brain? Okay, how do I exercise my brain? If I believe these things, if I've succumbed to these thoughts, these terrible thoughts, and I'm allowing these terrible thoughts to create a fort and a monster in my mind against me, my own self, my own thoughts, and my own belief system, if I allow it to create a monster inside of my mind, it will take me down. So I have to exercise my mind to protect it and my soul against those thoughts. Okay? Because if our thoughts are so powerful, you guys, they're so powerful. They're the key to everything. Okay? So it's our responsibility. It's our sole responsibility. We have free will, but we're supposed to exercise our mind. That's the true worship of God. For those of you that are watching this that are religious, the true worship of God, look at it, I think it's Romans 12:12 or something like that. The true worship of God is the renewal of one's mind. Okay? So with that being said, you have to exercise your mind. You have to exercise your brain. You can't be weak. You have to know this type of information. You need to know about your subconscious and how your subconscious works, and how the parts of your physical brain receive information, and how your eyes receive information, and what it does to the brain, and how that affects the way we act. You need to know that, because if you know that, then you'll be more careful as to what you watch, what you speak. You'll be more careful with all of that shit, because you're gonna know that the more things that you put into your brain, the more things are just piling up and waiting to boom, offset. You know what I'm saying? Like they just one day gonna and that's when it's just like overwhelming, and the depression start, because it starts triggering shit that you forgot you even got in there. And you can't have new information come in when you clutter with old shit. Shit that child, like your child self would react like. The shit that your child self can't handle. You understand? So for those of you that are watching and you listening and you thinking like, damn, this shit is hand, it's because you're resisting the growth. You're not allowing, you didn't purge out that childish belief system of how life should be treating you and how you should be responding to it. You haven't purged that out and made room for the new experiences. You've been resisting that. That is one of the main things that causes depressions subconsciously in a person. So you got to understand, like, that's just how you react. Now, I'm not saying that doctors can't help, and I'm not saying that some people rather take a pill, whatever, to each his own, however you want to do it. But you got to understand that we live in a country that is built off of billion-dollar business, and we should all know that doctors and medicine is one of the biggest businesses that we have. Okay, like we don't have free health care. You have to pay for every mother little living thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a reason to why there's a depressions, and there's 12 million personality disorders, and this and this and this and that, and then nitpicking and everything, because they understand, the strong mind understands that the weak mind is $1 billion fucking industry. So you'll save yourself a lot of money, heartache, and drama if you understand that you have to just get your mind strong. Your mind has to be strong. Once your mind is strong, your spirit can be strong. Okay? You have to start understanding all these different things. All right. Let's start ranting. Things happen. They're going to happen to you, but you got to stop looking at them like things happen to you. You got to understand that if everything just was perfect, if you were just born and raised and carried through life with everything perfect, you would never know what it's like to be unhappy, to need growth. So you would constantly stay in a very stagnant space. You won't even be able to really adapt to anything that, growth. You have to grow. You just have to grow. It's just a part of the whole process. You know what I'm saying? Like it's what it's supposed to be. You have to grow. Okay? So when you're affected by life's, things, when things are happening in life, you're affected by this. So now what's happening is you have to approach life. You have to show up for life. And sometimes the situations aren't ideal for you and you don't know how to deal with them. And that shit starts kicking up old belief patterns and old things. And you can't let that affect you. It's our habitual behavior and belief system that create the reality that we say we're depressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm depressed. Depressed is just a clinical word of saying, like, I'm weak-minded right now. Like, right now I'm letting my thoughts fuck me up. So sometimes I had to talk to myself like that. When I went through those things, when I was going through those times, and when I was in my darkness, I had to, like, really approach myself like that. Like, I could say, like, I'm going through a depression, and it's not easy like that, because it's not. When you're in there and you're at that low and you don't want to eat and you don't want to, fucking do anything. You don't want to get out the bed. You don't want to see sunlight. You just want to self-medicate. You want to numb out. I've been there. I've done it all. I've done all those different things to lock me up even more. And then that even furthermore messes up my chemicals. And then I'm all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Snapping on this one, flipping on that one, crying when I'm supposed to be laughing when I'm supposed to be crying. All types of shit. Like, I get it. I've been through that. But when I started to realize, like, all right, Ness, you being weak-minded, you got to exercise your mind. And I started to, like, challenge myself. I was like, all right, what do you do to exercise your mind? Do you read a book? Do you do a crossword puzzle? You know what I'm saying? Like, watch television, get on Facebook, like, keep yourself distracted. Those are the reasons why we don't have enough experience in handling life. And when life is thrown at us, we're bombarded by it and we fall into depressions because it's too much sometimes. All right. But in my personal experience, what I was doing was I was doing a lot of mindfulness. I was doing like a lot of meditation and like resting and a lot of like inner reflection, quiet. Like, and I was in a depression. And like, people around me were like, oh my God, Janessa's depressed. Oh my God, and if you know me, I'm kind of like, I'm extreme. I'm an extremist. It's like either really high or really low for me. You know what I'm saying? While those things were all good, like the rest and the meditation and all those things were great. They were really needed, but they were more needed for my soul. My soul needed that. My body needed it. The rest, the meditation, my mind, you know what I'm saying, needed something else. My mind needed something else, but I couldn't get to that thought with constantly thinking that I needed to be distracted with other things to fulfill my worth or my need, or to numb myself out. The numbing myself out, the drinking, the drugging, the partying, the fucking around and dating and this and that or whatever the fuck it was that I was doing, you know what I'm saying? It never really fulfilled. No matter what, because the moment one of those things faltered or needed to be removed or I had to let it go or I didn't want it anymore or whatever, it caused turmoil that then again triggered other things in my belief system that caused those depressions again. Okay? And so the doctor would tell somebody like, that's a chronic depression, but no, that's a chronic, I didn't fucking exercise my brain enough to know how to swag this shit out. Okay? And here I am again. And so now I'm mad at myself and I don't want to do this shit again. These were my thoughts. This is what I thought. These are the things I was going through. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that my brain, what I needed to do for my brain was I needed to do the undoing of the belief system. It was simple. It hit me. Like, you got to undo it. Every time There's not one, you're not just going to always, you're always going to have to grow. There's always going to be a new belief system replacing the next one. Remember, we're thinking of, you want to think of your brain like a storage space, like a hard drive. Like I got fucking 5 gigabytes worth of RAM or whatever. I'm pretty sure I got a lot more than that. But I got a certain amount of space in my mind for subconscious shit. You know what I'm saying? And in order for me to put the healthy shit in, that's time frame wise, like my age bracket time or whatever the fuck it is that wherever we're at in life. At that time right now, we need these lessons, these experiences. But if we holding on to old shit that is already gone, stagnant, don't fucking serve us anymore, hurts us still, renting space, hoping, wishing, stupid shit, that gotta go so we can make room for this new healthy stuff. So when life comes up on time, we can swag it out. Okay? So I started to realize I had to undo my old belief systems. And you can't just go in there and be like, oh, okay, let me move you out. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a box, like, okay. No, you got to look for the boxes. And the boxes have labels. And you forgot about these labels. A lot of these labels you don't even remember. Okay? So you got to go back into this closet. And you have to go digging into shit that you didn't want to look at ever fucking again. Okay? And those things come with emotions. And it's an ass kick. But it's real work. And while you doing it, you working that fucking brain out. You working it out. And you are going to be stronger. You don't realize it. You don't feel it. The same way you don't realize and feel the shit you storing when you chilling and you watching shit that's poisonous for you. You don't realize it when you living and talking the curses you are now depressed about. You don't realize that shit when you're doing it. It's the same thing when you undoing it. But once you're realizing you're depressed and you don't want to be in this reality anymore, then you have your responsibility to undo your old behavior patterns and belief systems to make new room for the new healthy ones you're going to now start to implement into your life and create new brain patterns and shit like that. Okay, because the antidepressants, yes, doctors give them to you, and yes, you need them and all that good shit, but them shits are eating us alive too, and they furthermore keeping you dependent on that. And that's another thing. I don't even want to get y'all started and have all y'all motherfuckers jump off your meds and then I'll be getting sued. So now when you know you have that undoing you need to do, okay, you need to do your undoing. Now you have to take that approach, okay? You have to have a real, true seat with yourself. You're going to need a support system, all right? But your support system can't be frequency low. They can't be on a low vibration. If you're depressed, your support system can't be making you do more shit that hurts you. You're not going to get out of your depression, maybe for the moment, but it won't last. If y'all the friends that are watching and your friend is depressed or your loved one is depressed and you think taking them out to drink and party and fuck around and do all this dumb shit is helping them, I assure you you're not. You're not doing them any favor. You'll really be doing them a real favor if you stop your shit and tell them, yo, just for the sake of your health, I'm going to low-key change my shit up so that way you got somebody to depend on. So you here with me. You pull up. That's a real friend, all right? Y'all should think about that and consider that. All right, anyway, back to what I was saying. So you have to take a conscious approach, all right, and have a true seat with yourself, and you have to decide to become extremely honest with yourself, all right? Extremely honest. You don't, like I said, you don't have to do this with anyone, but you need to start keeping yourself in a position where you're going to be really raw with yourself and be honest. And you're doing this like a worksheet or like a work program for yourself to undo this belief system of the things that are keeping you in that depression, all right? So you're going to have to sort through a lot of questions, and it's going to kick up a lot of the feelings, all right? But you're going to have to pinpoint things that hurt you. Your shadow self, the idea of a shadow self is, the way I'm going to express it is, it's your darker self. Just the lower frequencies or the negative frequencies or the masculine frequencies or the left frequencies or the bad frequencies or the dark frequencies, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. The shadow self is just like the lower self, and then the light self is the higher self, the higher frequency, the low self. So shadow work is the old work, the shit that doesn't no longer suit you, the shit that's following you around and influencing your shit and your behavior and your everyday reality, okay? So once you start to pinpoint the things about you that cause these emotions, you're going to start to separate your belief system from them. The separation is really important because now you're going to make what was subconscious conscious, so you don't let that shit interfere anymore. Okay? So you separate it. Once you start to be really honest with yourself, like, yeah, this shit happened. Yeah, you react like that. Yeah, this is not serving you anymore. You need to let that go. Yeah, that hurts you whenever you think about it. Like, who gives a fuck if you sound like a punk or a pussy or gay or whatever your situation is, okay? I don't know why I said that, but so I be reading shit. Oh, man. Anyway, so that, you know what I'm saying? You just fucking say to yourself what you need to say. You need to be honest about those things, bro. You need to. When you have dark things inside of you, they seep out. They seep out, you guys. When you ever have that friend that you go out with and whenever they get shit-faced, they do the most shit, that when they wake up, they are so upset and you're so upset. I used to be that friend. All right, I have a nickname, and they used to call me the Blackout Menace because there was a time in my life that I was so depressed, and I was younger. It was a time in my life that I was just like, didn't know what to do. I was homeless. I didn't give a fuck about my life. I didn't give a fuck where I was going, where I was heading. All I wanted to do was forget about life. And I didn't want nobody to see me weak, and I also didn't want to be weak. And so I didn't understand that I was weak, being weak-minded by constantly getting shit-faced every single day or every weekend or whatever, to the point of a fucking oblivion, and I was blacked out and I didn't remember anything, and I was being told the shit that I was saying and doing and how I was behaving and the things I've done to people during that time. And it's just horrible that anything can happen at this time. There's several people in prison right now fucking dead ass depressed, and like because they woke up because they killed somebody, because they was fucked up because of all the dark shit that was in them that never got touched and sorted out. You have to sort that shit out, because once you get wasted, there's a darkness subconscious that comes out and it influences all our ways. You understand? And we can't do nothing about it. So you guys, it's your responsibility, I beg you, to undo the shadow work, okay? Now, once you separate yourself, the truth might fuck with you for a while, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I said, you have to separate your old belief, because your old self is not your new self. The fact that you are already looking into these things is huge. It's fucking huge. It's paramount, and it's a good job. It's a great effort. So that alone is, yes, I'm doing good. I don't care if you didn't get out your bed. I don't care if you didn't even write the thoughts down. You was just honest in your mind about them and cried all day about them in the house. That's good job. Great job. Great work. Attaboy, attagirl. You have to take these beliefs and you have to combat them with new beliefs. Okay? So whenever they try to re-come up, you have a new belief system. All right? Okay, so the shadow work, like I was saying, the shadow work is your dark thought patterns, your old belief systems, things that don't serve you. So when those things come up, you have to now start to replace them. You separate from them and you replace them with new ones, lighter versions of yourself, okay? New ideas, healthy ideas, things that you want to see yourself as, things that you feel like you already are, okay? So like, for example, whenever I think like I'm too old for shit, like, all right, for instance, one of my main shits, and this is now, I'm gonna share it with y'all, because this is, my vlogging has been a huge therapy for me, so I'm gonna just share it with y'all. One of my main things is like, all right, I can rap my ass off. For those of you I don't know me, but for those of you that don't know me, I can rap my ass off, like, OD, I'm a really good rapper, but I feel like I'm too old for it, and not like image-wise, not like physical-wise, whatever. That shit is neither here nor there. What my thing is that my consciousness is too mature for the things that I feel mostly like, you know, most mass, you know, hip-hop, urban culture is really wanting to see. But lately, I've been feeling like that's an old belief pattern. I need to remove that. I need not to believe that, because that gets me into a huge depression when I see so many people do ideas that I fucking created and thought of years ago and execute them with a budget. It pisses me the fuck off. Or I see somebody less talented than me, less blessed than me, with a less of a message than me, doing crazy numbers, and me knowing why that's going down. And I really like get depressed about that. Like, this world is fucked up, and people, and da-da-da-da, and I get really fucked up about it. But lately, I've been telling myself, like, I'm timeless.